What's up? What's up? How's everyone doing today? What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I think everything should be up and running. Let me just make sure. If you guys can see me live, first of all, my name is Ricky. If you guys don't know who it is that I am, I have a little bit over 140, I think a little bit over 144,000 subscribers. It's been one heck of a week. Today's Sunday. We have a weekly Sunday stock talk. That's when me and my group, TechBud Solutions, we have a little bit over 95,000 members. And if you guys ever want to tune in live, if you guys ever want me to do a live breakdown and preparation for this upcoming week, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to turn on your post notifications on. And if you guys ever want to tune in live, then Sunday Stock Talk, usually at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. I do apologize for the delay. I am in California, but don't want to get into that too much. But I want to thank each and every single one of you for investing and being so patient with your time and waiting and joining us for this weekly event and stuff like that. So I'm going to do things a little bit different. I usually have like anywhere from like 3 to 5 stocks that I personally see value in preparation for this upcoming week, just due to the type of week that I've had, and especially the weekend and how busy it's been. I do have some stocks that I'm looking at, but because of certain news that came out over the weekend, it has to do with like North Korea and the missiles that they said that they're going to pull back and stuff like that. I want to see how the overall market performs to see if it actually acts as a catalyst to drive gold prices down, which then will push overall market conditions up. So I want to take that into consideration. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to pick around 5 to 10 stocks that I see value in for that you guys are calling out. So if you guys could see, I don't know what side it's going to be pointing at. So if I go like this, yeah, it's going to be on this side. So if you guys could see like all the people that are messaging right now, I need you guys to put it in the call out format. So what that is I have not seen one person put it in the call out format. So for anyone that wants me to break down a specific stock that they see value in, I needed the ticker symbol, the support and resistance level, the entry point, exit point, stop loss, and why it is that you see value. I'm not going to be able to break down all of them, right? Because we're going to have probably a couple thousand people tuning in live. But I'm going to try my best, and I do want to apologize for the delay. I'm hotspotting off my phone, so if there's any delay, I do apologize in advance. So we have our first one right here. What's going on is this Isaac 231L, let's see, MYO. So again, I ask you to focus on 3 things. On this 180-day analysis, I want to make sure that the stock that you call out is actively trending up above that 180-day EMA, that it's showing signs of an uptrend pattern, and that it's not so overbought, right? That it's a good deal still. So again, take that into consideration. If it doesn't meet that criteria, then just ask yourself, why is it that you're calling that specific thing out? So we got Matthew here saying, hey, Ricky, I'm really enjoying the LPP. And your YouTube videos, the screen looks really clear tonight. Oh, what's going on, Matthew? I'm really happy to hear that. Happy to have you as a part of our private group. We have a couple people here just joined the LPP group a few days ago. I like that. Well, welcome, guys. Started the LPP course. What's going on, guys? If you guys don't know what the Learn Plan Profit course is, it's the first link in the description. I'll talk a little bit more about it throughout the end of the video, but let me go ahead and get started with these breakdowns. So MYO. So what I'm going to do here is I'm using the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. This is the platform that I use. You personally don't have to use it. It's just one that I see. And we're going to put this as like this. All right, MYO. So MYO, based on the current patterns that I see right now, I see lower highs forming. So it's showing that it's been manipulated before. Easy way that I can see that is that these are volume bars right here. So you could see the overall demand that this stock has, and it has like almost no demand, and then it has a huge increase in catalyst, drives the price down, and then when volume is present, so it looks like there's a lot of manipulation coming into hand, which maybe the reason that you're talking about this one is because it's had a couple of green days. Just understand that there's probably a lot of manipulation or a lot of fake catalysts that's driving these prices up. I would personally stay away from these. I don't think that these are very consistent, and this is not something that I think will promote long-term growth. Just my own honest opinion, but you do whatever it is that you see value in. So the next one is INMT. This is going to be almost the same thing. It looks like it just went through a reverse stock split. You can see right here. For all those that are going to ask me, how do I have these earning reports? How do I have these reverse stock split setup. These are all default settings. Call your TD Ameritrade broker. If you guys can simply get them on the phone within 1 to 2 minutes and ask them if your setting is not set up as default. You can see that there's almost no volume here. Volume all of a sudden starts to form. Just FYI, especially for these like pharmaceutical companies, one thing that you want to take into consideration is that sometimes they have huge pushes through marketing, right? So they choose to market themselves and they pay promoters to promote the stock and stuff like that. So just make sure you take that into consideration and that you don't invest into something, especially long term, like as a swing trade, right? Not just the day trade, because day trade, you can sometimes ride these pump and ups. There's no question about that. But if you plan to invest in it and hold it due to this long term growth that supposedly it showed, again, understand based on previous patterns that is not very consistent. It's showing signs of a strong downtrend. Maybe we could expect it bounce right around where this SMA indicator is at. 100%, it doesn't have to bounce. So just note that. Don't hope for the best. Just let the patterns do the talking. I would personally stay away from INMT just due to that manipulation that I already see there. Looks like I might have skipped a couple. Did I not? Okay, ticker symbol X. Ticker symbol X I think might be a good one. Ticker symbol X was one that we were talking about. It is in a slight pullback. It was showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern. During the last 4 hours, it started to pick up. I want to see if it can continue to hold this uptrend and ascending uptrend pattern. I called this one out last week when it was showing signs of an uptrend. Ended up hitting highs of about $38. As you can see, it's still trying. It did have a pullback. Swing trades, there's always pullbacks. That's inevitable, right? But the overall potential for profit to $38 and if not more, I think is pretty decent, right? It's a pretty consistent pattern. If you see value in it and then you see it to start to recover, just know that it does have a pretty consistent ascending uptrend pattern. If you don't feel comfortable with it and you don't understand when there would be a break of pattern, so if you can't understand the pattern and if it continues to trend down that there's a break of pattern, then you probably don't want to trade it. Very simple. I would like for this thing to continue to hold above $36. If it continues to sell off, making lower lows, that's not something that is showing a healthy sign of recovery. So just give it time, let it start showing signs of an uptrend pattern. You'll see the MACD indicator start curving back in, start seeing some green bars, and the RSI starting to pick back up as well. And then we just want the overall candles to be above this EMA line as they're currently trending below it. But again, great call out. X, SQ. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in live. I'm really happy to see that so many of you guys took time out of your busy Sundays and are tuning in live. I actually really like this call out. I think we talked about this one in our last Sunday stock talk. So this one's currently trending up above this 180-day EMA. It just hit highs of what is that, 52, around 52.50. Do you see this ascending uptrend pattern that it's shown before? So it pushes up, pulls back, pushes up, pushes up, pushes up, and it does a very good job holding above this EMA line. That's exactly what it's been doing. So it just made new highs, so we could do one of two things. We could wait for a high of day or a break of high, right? So we can choose to take a position there, or we can wait for a pullback and then for it to bounce on this EMA line. And then once we confirm that bounce, how is it that you confirm the bounce? You wait for it to sell off and then for a couple green candles to form. If you look at it intraday and then it starts to trade in between the middle and top view up, then you will have a better understanding that, hey, this thing is showing signs of recovery. You can then take a step back, look at that 180-day chart and confirm, hey, is this thing actually actively trending up, and do I want to hold this for more than just one day? So I think this could be a great call. It's actively trending up, and that actually it's already in my active uptrending watch list. I'm happy to see that. So what I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to set an alert for a break above that certain price point. So thank you again. This has been the best call out so far within today's Sunday stock talk. So I'd definitely add this one to your watch list. Follow up with this one, and if you see value in it, great. If you don't, then just add it to your general watch list. Again, your biggest pull. I have a series of watch lists. The reason why is because some are actively trending up, and those are the ones that I want to focus on this week, and some are not. So just food for thought that you guys might want to open a series of different watch lists and stuff like that. So let's see. Oh, Henry, you seem a little upset, man. Luckily, we can put you on timeout. GASPX. All right, so GASPX currently is actively trending down. let's see. It does have a very strong downward pattern. The only reason, right, if we look at this current pattern, the only reason that it looked somewhat attractive is because this push and this drive that it had up, right, and it was holding above this SMA, a lot of consolidation. It's actively trending down again, and it's previously been rejected by this SMA indicator, which I think it's going to be very difficult for it to recover. So as of now, do I find this to be a good stock to invest in? The answer would have to be no. It's actively trending down. It looks like it's trending below the SMA as well, which has been a very strong resistance. So because of that, I would have to say, you know, I'd like to move on. So, well, appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. What's going on, Don? How you doing? Let's see. Henry got timed out. I just want to make sure that, man, I'm really sorry that I'm missing a couple of them. I do apologize for that. So DSLV. So actually, I kind of like this one. I kind of like this one, but not right now. And I'm going to explain to you why this one can be one that you can be actively watching, but it doesn't mean that you have to buy right now. Very simple understanding. So this one offers a pretty horizontal pattern. If you guys have not watched any of those videos where I talk about the two patterns that I love the most are horizontal patterns and ascending uptrend patterns. I try to stay away as much as possible, especially with the stocks that I talk about in my videos that are descending, because yes, I might be able to trade those descending patterns because I could easily understand when there's a break-if pattern and I could cut losses because I understand them. But if I talk about them and then I say that I see value in them and then I take a position, and because of the audience that I have, some people just choose to trade regardless of how many times I have to tell them to not trade what it is that I trade. They choose to still take a pattern on a descending pattern, and then they don't know when there's a break-if pattern and they continue to bag hold. So please note that, watch the video that I have about my favorite patterns to trade, and the top two have to be ascending and horizontal patterns. This one offers a horizontal pattern. Do you see why? Do you see why the support here at $22 and the resistance here at $26 I call a horizontal pattern? Yes, it's gone above, and yes, it's gone below, but it's very consistent within the past 180 days on how consistent it holds between this area. So there's this margin of profit that can be made. What is it that it's done before that we need it to do again for it to continue and start actively trending up? Asking myself right now, hey, is DSLV a good stock to invest in right now? No. Is it a good deal? Possibly. The reason why that I would view this thing to be somewhat of a good deal is because of how oversold it is, right? What I mean by that is that the RSI is pretty low. We could see that between the margin of 22 to 26, it looks like a good deal. It's at around $22, which is very close to the support. That's great. That confirms the one thing. I actually made a video about this, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, about the 3 things that you need to know before you take your position. I would encourage you to watch that video. The video that I uploaded earlier today was how you can start trading for free, talking about paper trading and simulation trading. So for all those that think that I'm just trying to encourage everyone to invest and lose their money in the stock market, I 100% encourage all new traders or anyone that's absolutely just even interested in investing in the stock market to start with simulation trading, because I've experienced the mistakes and the dollar loss when I first started, and I don't want any of you guys to do this. How amazing is it to test the waters, learn about the market, and not risk any money? That's the best of both worlds, right? And that's what I encourage everyone to do, regardless of what anyone says. If you guys don't see, then fine, whatever. But as you guys can see, man, I'm going on a lot of tangents today, huh? So the overall pattern right here from $22 to $26, it offers a pretty decent margin of profit. So that's the second question. Is the opportunity cost worth it? In my opinion, 18% is definitely worth it, right? 10% plus. You know, the potential for profit outweighs the potential for loss. So what is it that I need to do? So again, now it's understanding the pattern. What is it that I need to do or understand for this thing to start actively trending up? First thing is this stock is pretty volatile, right? You can see that it moves up and down pretty aggressively. There's no question about that. Understand that characteristic and that trait of this specific stock, right? Actually, this is an ETF. Yeah. And as you can see, when it's actively trending up, it's above this EMA line. So this blue line, it's usually, the candles are above this EMA line when it begins to actively trend up. So note that. So right now, ask yourself, is it actively trending up? No. The MACD indicator is starting to indicate a buy signal. That's great. The RSI is pointing up. That's great. It's a good deal. That's great. It's oversold. That's great. but it's not actively trending up. So that's the last thing that I want this thing to do. And I want to make sure that it begins to actively trend up. In reality, I mean, I'm going to set my alert for $23, and then I could follow up with this one when it becomes more relevant. And I think this can really assist a lot of traders that are just getting started to learn how to be patient, learn how to understand patterns, and learn how to trade quality stocks, because you have some filters that every stock has to meet before you invest your hard-earned money or the paper trading money. Just note that. So yes, I do find this to be a good potential trade, just not right now. So great call out. Oh man, I'm missing a couple of them. I'm gonna have to let's see. Ricky hits TOPS. That is correct. I'm a LPP freak. All right, let's talk about CY. CY, if I'm not mistaken, had a pretty solid rejection. And as we can see, it's pretty close to its earnings report. That's something that I would be very careful about. This is going to be very close to earnings season within the next 4 weeks. So make sure, based on my experience, I don't like holding anything over earnings. I've made a video about it before, so you guys can search up on the YouTube search bar earning reports, and I made a video explaining in detail on why I don't. The potential for profit is the risk, the opportunity cost is too high. And we're seeing that, hey, it's approaching this $15 support for ticker symbol CY. That's great. So it's looking like it's a good deal. RSI is oversold. The MACD indicator is starting to curve back in. A lot of good signs. The earnings, that's something that I would like to look out for. It's still actively trending down, and if its earnings is bad, then we could see a huge sell-off, and that's something that I don't want to partake in. Right? So let's be patient. I'll set my alert for when it'll start actively trending up, and we could revisit this one. Write this one down on a piece of paper to, hey, maybe follow up after its earnings. You could simply search up its earnings or hover over it if you have this capability. So 4/12/2018, just follow up with it. And yeah, we'll keep it that simple. I'll also set my alert if there's a break of pattern and it starts to trade below $16, because that's going to be very important as well, just to stay up to date as an investor. So Ricky, you should check DRV and DRN. I actually really like those stocks, so that's why I'm going to do it. So DRN was actively trending up. It looks like it got rejected by this SMA indicator. Did we not call that out? Did we not call out that this thing needs to push up above 18, pull back, bounce on the SMA line, and then continue to trend down? It looks like it got rejected. It looks like it's trying to hold above 16, but I don't know how well it's going to be able to do that. I have my alert set up here. So right now, based on previous patterns, DRN has been the one that's been actively trending down. DRV has been the one that's been trying to progressively pick back up. So I think this is going to be very important. If we see that DRV validates this SMA as a support, then we'll see this thing to continue to trend up. How are we going to know that? When it starts to make higher highs and not lower lows. It's been making lower lows, so let's make sure we take that into consideration. Don't build emotion or don't build hope for either one of these right now. If you are currently invested in that, don't worry about that. What I want you to ask yourself is, what pattern is showing signs of an uptrend pattern? Is this thing going to reject this SMA and then continue to trend down, or is it going to bounce on it? So again, these are inverse ETFs of one another. So now this is DRN. Again, is it going to bounce here and then or continue to trend down? So we'll have to follow up with this. And I can set my alert here if it goes sub 1588. I'm going to do about 5 more breakdowns. So you guys have been doing pretty good with the call out, so I appreciate that. Let's see. AGR. This especially with its earnings coming up. When is this? The earnings should be tomorrow. Wow. Yeah, earnings should probably be tomorrow. So it looks like it's currently having a sell-off. It looks like it might potentially bounce. This one's a little bit too volatile for me. I don't like that. Yes, it's been making higher highs, and I do find that to be attractive. But also the sell-offs are very aggressive, and that's not something, because of the dollar value that I usually have invested, anywhere from like around 10 to 20,000. The overall dollar value is too great for me, and because of this volatility, I just would not feel comfortable trading it. One thing that I would keep a very close eye out for that it's done pretty well is when it starts to actively trend up above this 180-day EMA. I would wait for the earnings report, but then I would follow up with this one if it does end up pushing back up again, since it's been having a pretty consistent pattern of making higher highs, and then the overall resistance at around 53. What is this? 53. to maybe potentially $54. So great call out, just not something that I would personally invest in. Just because I don't invest in it doesn't mean that you can't. Just wanted to make sure that you guys all understand that. I'm going to have to... Appreciate Lone Rider. Thank you again for tuning in. TELL. Thank you. So I actually like this pattern. We actually talked about this one last week. So we talked about the horizontal pattern that it's previously shown between $9 and $12. And about every dollar it has a new resistance. So around right now around $10. It should be approaching a resistance, as we could see. It's showing signs of a peak formation. And when it usually experiences this, it peaks, it gets rejected by that resistance, it bounces on this EMA line and then continues the rally back up. That's very important to know. So as we're approaching this resistance, we want to see if it gets rejected, and then if it validates the EMA as a support, and then if it continues to trend up, because if it bounces, then we can catch this margin as it approaches to recover to the previous highs of like 1050, which overall the potential is pretty high. So this is an ascending uptrend pattern. The margin of profit there is worth it. Just make sure that it confirms, that it continues to confirm this ascending uptrend pattern. If you get in right now, you're getting in. What you're risking is that you're getting in too high as it might pull back. What I would look for is to get, when it potentially bounces, close to this EMA indicator, and to watch very closely if there's a break of pattern, and if you see the bodies of the candle start to trade below the EMA. So if it starts to show signs of a curling pattern, what would that look like? Again, just look at its history, and when it was actively trending up, and then when it gets rejected, the EMA line starts to point back down. Again, you want the EMA line to start pointing up and to continue to point up. So great call out, and this one should be in my active uptrend watch list. All right, let's do a couple more. SKX. Okay, so I see why this one's being called out, and it has to do due to its earnings, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is all aftermarket, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I had a huge sell-off due to its earnings. This is personally why I don't. This is actually Skechers. Wow. Holy crap. I'm gonna have to look a little bit more into this and the fundamentals on why this dropped so much. Obviously, there's something with its guidance, or I don't know anything about what led to this drop. There's a very consistent pattern, or a very common pattern called a cup and handle pattern that tends to form when huge drops like this happen. It offers a lot of opportunity, as it might, when it has these huge sell-offs, that it can recover pretty quickly, and it creates, this pretty decent margin of profit that you can profit off of within a short period of time. Another risk with this is that you get in a little bit too early and that it continues to sell off. So you want to make sure what caused this huge sell-off, and to see if that news or that catalyst is detrimental to this company. Skechers is a huge corporation. It's a huge company, and you want to make sure that you understand, is it going to be able to continue to recover after the news dies out and all the hype dies out? Or is it something that's going to hold and really, devastate the overall pattern of the company? So great call out. I'm going to have to follow up this one, and because of that, I'm going to add it to my active watch list, just because I definitely want to make sure that I follow up with it. So that's a really good call out. Ain't nobody wearing Skechers these days. I agree. But no, actually, a lot of dads aren't they? IONS. So IONS. I'm going to do two more after this. So IONS, and very easy to see. So thank you again, first of all, for calling it out. It's a descending pattern. This is not one that I would personally invest in. So I see why. First of all, I see why it is that you're calling it out. It's actively trending up. I get that. But looking at the big picture pattern, look at these descending resistance levels. Do you see that? How they continue to get lower and lower, right? And then it continues to get rejected by this this SMA indicator. Yes, it did push above, but look how overextended it is. Look how overbought it is. So that's why I don't think that this is going to hold for a very long period of time. One thing that I would look for, if you like trading these descending patterns and you feel comfortable and you've seen a good success rate, is to try to find them when they're barely starting to curve back up, because that's when they, understanding that they're curling back up and they're reversing, then the margin of profit then is much more worth it than getting in at a much higher price point. So again, if you want to get in on a descending pattern, then you need to become comfortable and more familiar with how to find a good entry. That's something that we do cover within the Learn, Plan, Profit lesson library, and I have a couple of videos on YouTube that you kind of just have to search for. I think I have over 800 videos now, so welcome to the hunt. UAN. UAN. So wow. Actually, we talked about this one last week. I was going to be like, oh man, you found a great one. So you can see that I've done my technical analysis on this one before. This is also a very easy horizontal pattern that a lot of people can easily see, right? It's a very and for all those that are asking, like, what makes my Learn Plan Profit course so amazing? Is it like a secret strategy that I show or something like that? No, nothing like that. There's no secret strategy, nothing like that. I just provide more structure with trading. If you're someone that feels like you need to be held accountable for your trades and someone that can guide you in the right direction, then that's what we do. People get if you're part of the private group, you get to watch me trade live every morning. You get to kind of like our Sunday stock talk, but every single day for about an hour every single day with the private group. So that's kind of what it is. You go through a structured course. It's of all new videos. Explains to you everything that I know about the stock market, and then you get to watch me trade every morning. You get to ask me questions live every morning, and it's more of a like an inner circle. So that's the whole point of the first link in the description. And something that we cover very often are patterns like this. Very easy to understand horizontal patterns. Although they're very easy to understand and they're very consistent, what is something that we always wait for? Confirmation. And right now it's still showing signs of a descending pattern. That's why you see this little arrow right here. I have my alert since like maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, since I saw that this was descending. It's approaching a support where it might be a good potential buy, but just because it's bounced there before 100% does not mean that it has to bounce there again, especially with its earnings coming up. Earnings are coming up, and the earnings are on the 26th of April. I would like to wait for the reversal, and I would like to wait for the earnings to push out. Just like last time, it worked well after its earnings, and then it drove the price up with the resistance right around anywhere from 360 to 380. So then ask yourself, again, the 3 rules. Do you understand the pattern? Are you getting in at a good buy? And is the opportunity cost worth it? Ask yourself, is 26.68% worth it? If it's not, don't trade it. If you understand the pattern, or if you don't, then don't trade it. And if the opportunity cost is not worth it, then don't trade it. Very simple. But I think that this is a great call out. I definitely will add it to my active uptrend watch list when my alert goes off. But until then, it's still descending, and I have an alert down here as well for 280 if it continues to descend. So great call out again. Let's do one more breakdown. Let's see. It's going to be Eddie. What's going on, Eddie? So ticker symbol NAP. Oh, so this is actually a perfect example. Did you guys see what happened with Skechers in that huge sell-off? This is a perfect example of what a cup and handle pattern looks like. It has a huge sell-off. It continues to sell off maybe for about a week or 2 weeks more. And then when it breaks above the EMA, when the EMA line actually catches up with it, then it begins to recover and builds this cup. Usually it hits a resistance at the point on where it originally sold off to. So take that into consideration. That's a very quick breakdown. So this thing might continue to sell off all the way down to maybe $25. And then when it builds this cup and handle pattern, it will get rejected at around $30, as that's where it originally sold off to. Just a very common kind of pattern when it comes down to those specific stocks. So what was that ticker again? NAP. So based on that pattern, I think it already has recovered a decent amount. And based on me not knowing anything about this company, you would have to hope that it would continue to rally up. It looks like it's gotten all its volume since the sell-off. As you can see, there's this abnormal amount of volume going on right now based on its previous patterns. And because of that, I think once the hype ends up dying out, it's going to continue to descend. Something unlike Skechers. Skechers is actually a reputable company. Although it's been dying out, there's no question about that. I would like to look a little bit more into it and to see when the recovery would happen. So great call out on that. I think that's a good way to end it. So look further back on NAP. That's definitely something that you should do. Again, I'm just doing a quick analysis on the 180-day chart. You can look at the 1-year chart, and then you could also look at, yep, it looks like it has a very strong descending pattern. So it might try to recover to a little bit, to higher highs, but just understand that it does have a very strong descending pattern. Then we can look at the 3-year, yep, very strong descending pattern. Who was it that said that? Just as a friendly reminder, group chat saved my life. And I'm sorry. It was Eddie. Let's see. Man, I'm sorry. I'm not able to catch you or thank you for calling that out or anything like that. But yeah. So what's going on, Dustin? So thanks, man. Great info. You're officially the only person I trust on this stuff. So first of all, Dustin, 100% thank you again for the support and all that. I do want to remind you guys that just as we close this thing off, I want to remind you guys that regardless of like, I want to first thank you guys again for your time and for everything that you guys have done. If you guys are a part of my free trading group, again, it's the third link in the description. We have a little bit over 95,000 members. I would love to have you guys, but I want you guys to understand 3 rules. And I mean this like from the bottom of my heart on like how important it is to understand this and to, like, if you can, write this on your wall. And I think this can help you in all aspects of investing, not just in the stock market, but in general. Understand the market that you're investing in. If you are just getting started, just understand that it's going to take time for you to get to a point where you can make like logical just investment decisions, and just know that it's going to take time. This isn't a get rich quick scheme, nothing like that. Second rule is never invest based on other people's opinion, especially in the stock market. There's a lot of manipulation, a lot of people that are paid to promote a series of stocks, and that's why that has to be one of the #1 rules that you always follow. I don't care if it's me, I don't care if it's John Smith that has, that just made $10,000. If someone is telling you that something is going to go to the moon or that is going to skyrocket, that should be a huge red flag on why you should potentially do and dedicate your own time to do your own technical analysis, because you never want to invest your hard-earned money based on someone else's opinion. If you're going to do that, you might get lucky a couple times, but long-term growth, you're not going to get lucky. This is not something that you're going to, get rich quick in. And some people experience success at a much quicker pace, and that's fine, but understand that it's going to take time on a consistent basis for a long period of time, 20 to 30 minutes a day if you can, to learn these new habits, these new characteristics, these new techniques, to get to a point where you can make these fine investment decisions, right? Just note that. And then last thing is, make sure that you have a plan when investing. Understand your entry, exit, and stop loss. Did you see all the callouts that we had today and how everyone had it in this callout format? If you guys ever join the TechBud Solutions group, so what was that comment? My boy Pickle. Oh my goodness, Brody, you cracked me up. So if you guys go here, it's the top pinned post. This is where you can join the main group chat, so our private Discord chat for the TechBud Solutions group. This is where you join the Learn, Plan, Profit course if you want access to the link. But as you guys could see as well, you could see that there's this call out format. You can copy and paste this, and this is how So what I'd like to recommend for our traders, and again, just give me like a couple more seconds. Let me see if I can actually, I'm on my laptop today, so I don't have the things all set up. Man, I'm sorry for looking so gross. But one thing that I just want to remind you guys is that how important it is, like how important it is to just, how can I put this into words? Like how important it is to stay very niche focused. If you are just getting started, I would not invest $1. I would start with simulation trading. And if you want to get started and just getting your feet wet with investing in stocks, then make sure that you plan out your trade. And the thing that has helped not only me, but a lot of people within our overall community of TechBud Solutions, especially Learn, Plan, Profit, is that I encourage traders, forget all the noise, forget what everyone else is talking about, dedicate 20 to 30 minutes within today and tomorrow, because I don't have my #1 stock that I'm going to invest in this week. And what I would encourage you to do is, because I want to see how the market opens tomorrow, and I'll make another one of these videos tomorrow if you guys want to tune in, is to ask yourself within today and tomorrow, what stock, just 1 or 2 stocks, 1 or 2, keep it very micro focused, or ignore all the noise. What 1 or 2 stocks are you going to focus on this week that is going to get you to your weekly goal? Forget all the noise, forget about day trading every single day. Think about what stock that offers you whatever your weekly goal is. If it's 3%, 5%, 10%, 20%, again, be realistic with yourself to just get the ball rolling, and ask yourself, what 1 or 2 stocks or ETFs are you going to focus on this week that are actively trending up, that is showing signs of an uptrend pattern, that the opportunity cost is worth it. Whatever criteria you come up with that you see value in. Very simple. All I ask you to do is to have standards for what you choose to invest your hard-earned money in. That's all. So And that's really just it. So there's going to be a lot of people. Once you guys join the free TechBot Solutions community, we have Lupo, we have Ferris. I want to give a shout out to them. They're amazing admins that make the TechBot Solutions community worthwhile. You guys can catch me in there time from time. I'm going to be tuning in throughout the week in the voice chat. So I'm going to be tuning in about every other day. And first, yeah, I don't trade options. So that's not a very good question for me. So yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Brad. He's one of the future channels within my YouTube channel. I want to give a shout out to Vin, and then I want to give a shout out to Robinhood Harley as well. But altogether, I'm going to make a video. I know this video is a little bit different than our normal Sunday stock talk. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. But to have my top stocks for this week, just give me until tomorrow. I want to see how the market opens. I want to see overall market conditions and how this news acts as a catalyst to either drive gold prices up and gold prices down, and then I can make a much more like real decision on what I want to invest in. I want to see if this is an actual valid catalyst, and I'll have a lot more data tomorrow to share with you guys. So I want to thank you guys again for your time. If you guys want to watch me trade live, just like we do every single morning, be sure to click that first link in the description and learn a little bit more about my private group. 100%, you don't have to. We have a free trading community if you guys want to learn from that. But yeah, just whatever it is that you guys want to do. All I ask you to do is those three things: be consistent, have a goal for yourself, and then don't give up, regardless of what it is. If it's not investing in the stock market, so be it. You guys don't need to be investing in the stock market to be successful. Just be consistent. Do it on a consistent basis and make it a habit. That's all. I'll be making more videos about mindset and lifestyle later throughout the week and much more on a consistent basis, because I want you guys to understand that how important it is, like how important the mindset is to have when approaching any market of investing. And I think anyone that has been successful in any market can 100% vouch for that. So no, for those that are asking like the different markets that I invest in, when it comes down to overall no, I invest in the stock market, I invest in real estate, and then I invest in buying and reselling cars and a series of different like ventures as in businesses. But I don't invest in Forex, I don't invest in options, nothing like that. So motivational music, I don't know, Gucci Gang, maybe. So thank you guys again so much for your time. I'm sorry, I actually kind of really have to go. I'm running actually really late. So I'm going to be back in Arizona tomorrow. So I just flew out today. I'm going to be flying back tomorrow. Man, it was ridiculous hanging out with my family. There's so many little kids here. If you guys are Hispanic or Mexican or anything like that, my goodness, this is why I'm staying in Arizona. Too many little kids over here. So thank you guys again so much for your time. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Continue working hard. Continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. Christopher Ruiz is asking for the money dance. The money dance is like, all right, I'm done. So hope you guys all have an amazing day. If you guys want to tune in again and stay connected, all the links are down below. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Hope you guys get a good night's rest, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at Market Open. So thank you guys again. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.